South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Hi, I'm Kurt Angle. I represented the United States in the Olympics in 1996 and won a gold medal. Then I parlayed that into a pro wrestling career. I saw a commercial a few years ago.
Tunnel to Towers Foundation made a promise.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation is paying off the mortgages for Gold Star families with young children. I thought, this is really cool. I want to be a part of it. My dad served in the Army for 30 years. We didn't have a lot of money, but he made sure we had what we needed. He set a great example for all of us. He died in a construction accident my freshman year in high school. When he died, we didn't have any income coming in, and we ended up being forced to move out of our house. I was devastated. So I understand what these families are going through, and to have an organization like Tunnel to Towers come in and pick you up and carry you and give you a home to live in, I think that's just amazing. I'd like to ask you to donate $11 a month to support these efforts by going to t2t.org or calling 1-844-BRAVEST.
The Southern California Thoroughbred Racing Circuit is back at Los Alamitos Racecourse with 9 great days of racing starting on Friday, June 20th. The opening weekend will feature the $100,000 Bertrando Stakes. Plus, the summer meet will include the running of the Los Alamitos Derby on Saturday, June 28th. We'll also have a holiday racing program on Friday, 4th of July. And our on-track handicapping contest will be on Saturday, June 28th. Daytime racing returns to Los Alamitos. Opening day is Friday, June 20th.
The following is a Race Day Las Vegas presentation in association with Siraco Productions Limited on the Race Day Las Vegas Radio Network.
Live from the gaming capital of the world, time for Race Day Las Vegas, covering the sport of kings with a Las Vegas perspective. Now to the race desk with your host, Ralph Siraco.
From the backstretch to the turf club, at the racebooks and on the internet, to all horse players around the world, a good morning.
All righty, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Race Day Las Vegas radio program. We come to you live and direct from the gaming capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, right here at the South Point Studios at the South Point Hotel Casino Complex on Las Vegas Boulevard in the gaming capital. And, of course, over the South Point Studios streaming network at YouTube, we welcome you to the show. And, of course, all of you running around town this morning here listening to us on the local radio station, our anchor local radio station here in town, Sports Talk 1400 AM and 107.1 FM. And then, of course, all of you listening around the world on our websites, racedaylasvegas.com, .vegas, .world, .global, bada bing, bada bong, all that stuff there. Plus, of course, your devices, your iPhone, Android, and Google phones. We took care of that with the apps. You can get the KSHP app to listen to us on the radio side, and of course the YouTube app to see and listen to us through YouTube as well. And of course, anywhere you get your podcasting, we're there too. So welcome to the Race Day Show on this Wednesday, no matter how you get us, when you get us, and welcome. Just welcome to the show. And of course, we begin another week of covering the great sport of kings, Las Vegas style, and boy, do we have a big Saturday coming up at Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky. They've got a monster day of racing coming up there on Saturday with all of those stakes races. Try 6 stakes races on the Churchill Downs Saturday docket. 1 Grade 3, 2 Grade 2s, 1 Grade 1. That, of course, is the Stephen Foster. And the Stephen Foster and the Fleur de Lis are 2 races that'll be Breeders' Cup winning or in races. And, of course, the Stephen Foster, man, that looks like the Breeders' Cup Classic already, with the depth and quality of the field in the Stephen Foster. And, of course, the Fleur de Lis gets last year's Horse of the Year, Torpedo Anna, running in it as well. And, of course, Saturday, Woodbine will have 5 stakes races, 2 Grade 2s and 3 Grade 3s. Laurel Park will have 4 stakes races. That includes the Francis J. DeFrancis Memorial Dash. And, of course, we'll kick in with Belmont at Aqueduct with the stakes race. Monmouth and Los Alamitos will host their Los Alamitos Derby on Saturday. So a lot of good stuff coming up this weekend. Big news in horse racing, however, it's been the big news really across the country for the last couple of weeks, and that is the extreme heat that's going on. Now, you remember here in the southwestern part of the United States, we had that excessive heat warning that was going on here. Well, we had cooled off, and that excessive heat warning is now making its way up to the Midwest and the Northeast. And when you get up to the Midwest and the Northeast and you're getting the kind of temperatures that we had here, it is extremely bad there because you mix in the humidity as well. So as a result of the extreme heat that's going on the upper East Coast right now, there have been 2 cancellations today for racing already. Delaware Park has been canceled, and Parks Racing has been canceled today because of the extreme heat, okay? More might come, but for right now, that's the way it is. I know that very hot where Jonathan Ardoon is at in Saratoga. Now, here in Las Vegas, believe it or not, we had a cooling trend that went over the last couple of days. Right now, outside here in Las Vegas, it is a very comfortable and beautiful 75 degrees. If you're up here in Las Vegas listening and watching our show, you might want to take your iPad and watch us on YouTube outside in the beautiful weather out here because we don't have any wind today. The breeze, just a little trickle of a breeze out there. It's just beautiful right now. And we're only going to get up to 100 degrees. Now, I know that when I say only up to 100 degrees, that sounds like, oh, you got to be kidding me. But here in the West Coast, when you're talking about getting up to 100 degrees, well, that is really kind of cool at this time of the year. So how the temperatures work out is we're going to get back to the higher over 100-degree weather come later on in the week. But right now it's really comfortable and nice out here. However, on the East Coast, believe it or not, they say it's going to get up to 100 degrees today in New York City. New York, 100 degrees. Can you imagine going down those streets with those big high rises in Manhattan or whatever and having 100-degree weather? That's what I'm talking about there. 98 in Washington and 96 in Charlotte. You get down to Miami, it's the regular, weather there, 84 degrees. Tampa's 93. And then as we move across the country, you got Chicago at 82. Oklahoma City's going to be 91. As I say, here in Vegas, we're going to get to 100. And even in Phoenix, Arizona, believe it or not, it's cooler in Phoenix, Arizona than it has been in a while. It's going to be 103 degrees there. Southern California's a beautiful day. It's going to be 81, but there's no racing going on in Southern California. As far as the precipitation, et cetera, is concerned, all of that action is kind of centered over Wisconsin, Iowa, the Dakotas, et cetera. So outside of that, looks pretty good for the weather across the country as far as the racing is concerned, as far as the precipitation is concerned. But right now, we're just really talking about the heat right now on the East Coast, and that's the way it's going to be. And we're hopefully it'll get a little bit better towards the weekend. Certainly, hopefully it'll be nice weather this Saturday at Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky. Going to be a great racing day there. All right, on today's show, we have our handicappers, Jonathan Hardoon, Rich Yang. Of course, if it's Wednesday, it's time for Duane Colucci from the Rampart. He'll be checking in with us. So will Jon Lindo from Southern California. We'll get, of course, some picks from our handicappers today. And, of course, your racing menu yet to come for today's racing. But all I can say is something did happen, something sad that happened between the time we left you on the air on Sunday and, of course, coming back on the air today. The coach, Duane Lukas, took very ill. Duane Lukas has retired from racing. It was sudden, but it happened over the weekend. That news broke around Sunday. Duane Lukas is now he's now in hospice care. And so all I can say about that, he changed the face and complexion of how you train horses and the training regiments in racing. He was revolutionary in having more than one set of stables in one particular area. Remember, he's the guy that started out having a racing stable in Southern California, one in New York, one in Kentucky. I mean, he really kind of revolutionized it in that way and form. And the great trainers that are training today across the country have all tutored under Duane Lukas, the coach. I can go into all of his great accomplishments as far as the stats and the awards, etc. But simply put, Duane Lukas changed training the way you trained in thoroughbred racing and forevermore. It's just as simple as that. Now, he has had 4,967 winnings in thoroughbred racing. 637 of the 1,105 stakes races that he has won over his career were graded stakes races. And his horses have earned more than $301 million from 30,607 starts. This, of course, according to the statistics. He won the Kentucky Derby 4 times, the Kentucky Oaks 5 times, and a total of 26 horses trained by Lukas went on to win Eclipse Award championships, including 3 that were tabbed as Horse of the Year. Now, Lukas had 15 Triple Crown races and is only second to Bob Baffert's 17 in that category. He was enshrined in the Horse Racing's Hall of Fame in 1999 and the American Quarter Horse Hall of Fame in 2007, becoming the first person ever recognized in both Hall of Fames. He was born September 2nd, 1935 in Antigo, Wisconsin, 155 miles west of Milwaukee. He earned a bachelor's and master's degree in education at the University of Wisconsin. And while he was a young teacher, Lukas also worked with high school basketball teams. That's how he got the name Coach. That was the stepping stone to him getting the nickname Coach and was stuck for the rest of his life. He was the coach. He was always keenly interested in horse racing. He moved to California in the 1960s. That led him to a successful 10-year career training quarter horses before switching to thoroughbreds full-time in 1978. 2 years later, he had his first classic winner with Codex in the Preakness Stakes, and the history-making filly Winning Colors, you remember, won the first of 4 Kentucky Derbies for Duane Lukas. From 1994 until 1996 Kentucky Derby, he won 6 consecutive Triple Crown races. He started it out, and he came close to winning the Triple Crown with Charismatic in 1999, who won the Derby and Preakness but finished third when he got hurt in the Belmont Stakes. He is really, Lukas, I can go on and on about all the records, but simply put, among his other achievements, he became the first trainer to surpass the $100 million mark and later the $200 million mark and later the $300 million mark in purses earned, leading the U.S. trainers in earnings for 14 of 15 years beginning in 1983. He is the leading trainer in Breeders' Cup history with 20 victories in Breeders' Cup races. He has trained 25 champions who won Eclipse Awards, including 3 Horses of the Year, Lady Secret in 1986, Criminal Type in 1990, and a Charismatic in 1999. And he won the Eclipse Award for Outstanding Trainer 4 times. And as I say, I can go on and on about all of his records, but those are records. What Duane Lukas meant to racing, what he meant to the racing industry and how he changed it will ever be his cornerstone memory in racing, and all of the great trainers that have come from him and his stable. We're going to go over some of Duane Lukas' memories with our handicappers today, Jonathan Hardoon, Rich Eng, Duane Colucci, and, of course, Jon Lindo. But what a great run Duane Lukas had in horse racing. And we wish him all the best in his last days here. He's going to spend his last days here with his family surrounding him. And, of course, horse racing will continue to remember him with great memorials and great memories from all of the great people that he has touched. Well, we continue with the Race Day show now by going to our first break, and when we come back, we'll get you your racing menu for today, and then we'll go to our handicappers as we begin another week of racing, covering it Las Vegas style right here from the South Point. We'll be right back.
South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
The Southern California Thoroughbred Racing Circuit is back at Los Alamitos Racecourse with 9 great days of racing starting on Friday, June 20th. The opening weekend will feature the $100,000 Bertrando Stakes. Plus, the summer meet will include the running of the Los Alamitos Derby on Saturday, June 28th. We'll also have a holiday racing program on Friday, 4th of July. And our on-track handicapping contest will be on Saturday, June 28th. Daytime racing returns to Los Alamitos. Opening day is Friday, June 20th.
All right, back on Race Day Las Vegas. Let's go out to the racing menu today of racetracks available today in the Racebook simulcast centers and racetracks around the country. As you know, and we repeat this every day, that the first post times we broadcast on the show for these racetracks are that of the Pacific time zone, because that's where we're at, here in the Pacific time zone. If you're coming out to the South Point to enjoy some racing today, in the book, these will be the first post times here. But of course, since we know we go around the world, we are in so many different time zones, we couldn't obviously give you all of them. So wherever you're at, if you're not in the Pacific time zone, adjust from the Pacific time zone to whatever time zone you're in, make that tweak, and then you won't miss anything, like I miss Mom and Dad, okay? First post times are Pacific. All right, we begin with Belterra Park. Belterra Park has a first post time of 9:35 at Belterra Park. After that, we have Parks Racing that was scheduled to go, but Parks Racing is canceled today. They would have been next, but they're canceled. So we move ahead to Churchill Downs. Churchill Downs' first post time is at 9:45. Now listen, they're coming up to the end of their meet. That Pick 6 jackpot carryover today is $950,655. $950,655. 50 grand less than $1 million. Okay? Now that thing keeps carrying over. When it gets to this weekend and closing weekend at Churchill Downs, it'll be a mandatory payoff, and that'll be a blockbuster for Sunday. But right now, it's a $950,655. First post time today at Churchill Downs is at 9:45. We go next to Finger Lakes in upstate New York. Their first post time is set at 10 a.m. Following that, Horseshoe Indianapolis. Horseshoe Indianapolis has two $100,000 stakes races today on their tab. First post time at Horseshoe Indianapolis is set at 11:10. Following that, you'll get Presque Isle Downs. Their first post time is at 12:30 at Presque Isle. Penn National kicks in with their racing program at 2:45. And, of course, we have our fingers crossed for Penn National because they've got the Penn Mile coming up on Friday. Let's hope they don't have to cancel for the Extreme Heat, because that'll be the third time they've been trying to run the 4 stakes races on Penn Mile Day. But it's still scheduled for Friday. Right now, today, first post time is at 2:45. And then, of course, we wrap it up with Canterbury Park. Canterbury Park has a first post time today of 3 o'clock. And, of course, Delta Downs will be after that. All right, that's the racing menu for today. We now go out to Jonathan Hardoon standing by. Jonathan, good hot morning to you, my man.
Good morning, Ralph. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Our weather is just great here. How's the weather where you're at?
Well, it's 90 degrees at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you know you're in for a long, hot day. And that's what it is actually down in the city and up here as well. It's just been brutal the last couple of days. It really is.
I know that when we get to the temperatures you're getting to now, it's not unbearable for us, but we are in what they call, it's a dry heat. Yeah, that's what they call it. Yours is accompanied by humidity, which can get really, really uncomfortable.
Yeah, and it's really unsafe, especially for older people to be outside. And like you always give your public statement every day, you really should hydrate, walk around with a bottle of water if you can.
Yeah, there's no question about that. Here, I don't have to say that today because we're in like our normal temperatures in the summertime. But if you're out in anywhere where they have that extreme heat, make sure you continue to be hydrated. If you feel dehydrated, it's going to be too late. So make sure you stay hydrated. Walk around with that water bottle and keep the pets and the kids inside. Don't let them stay outside too long. And check on the elderly that have a problem with the heat, that's for sure, wherever you're at in the extreme heat. We get used to it here, but want to remind folks out there. Well, we got a big day of racing coming up on Saturday at Churchill Downs. And crossing our fingers, we hope that Penn National can get those 4 races in come Friday. They're still scheduled to go, but if there's extreme heat there, I mean, they've been canceling it because of the wet weather the last 2 times they tried it. But now if there's extreme heat there, they may cancel it again. But right now, they're scheduled to go. Let's hope they do. at Penn National on Friday. And then, of course,
not only that, Ralph, with the heat, there could be a chance of thunderstorms and thunder showers. So, who knows? They'll never get that night in, but hopefully they do, and hopefully it's this weekend.
They're going to get the night in. Trust me, I have faith that Mother Nature is not going to put the whammy on them for the third time. She's going to be a racing fan on Friday. And certainly, hopefully, on Saturday in Louisville for the big racing at Churchill Downs. You and I went over the Stephen Foster thumbnail-wise on the last show that we had here when they drew that race. And it looks like a prelude to the Breeders' Cup. I mean, that could be a Breeders' Cup Classic race with those horses.
It's really unbelievable. I mean, Sierra Leone is 7-2, but Sierra Leone may be up against it. There's not a lot of early speed in this race. And, obviously he needs a pace to run into. Mystic Dan loves Churchill Downs. Mind Frame, is it going to end up being a price horse? This horse has 6 starts, 4 wins in 2 seconds. So he always shows up. And, of course, you have Skippy Longstockings as well. Small field of 7, but, boy, is this a competitive field.
And I got to tell you right now that Mind Frame and that last win at Churchill Downs, which looked like a chorus line finish, they were all across the wire. And he had a bad trip in that race and still won. If Todd Pletcher, tightens the screws on him even more, he's going to be real tough. We talk about Todd Pletcher now, of course, and he is one of the guys that was tootled.
He's one of the branches off the tree of Duane Lucas.
Absolutely.
You had so many great trainers: Dallas Stewart, Karen McLaughlin, Mike Maker, Todd Pletcher. All these are disciples of Lucas. Listen, obviously Lucas belongs on the Mount Rushmore of trainers, of anyone involved. He just totally changed the game, and he was a pioneer. And listen, he had a lot of ups and downs. Unfortunately, he lost his son, who was his assistant trainer at the time when he got run over by a horse, if you remember that tragedy. Jeff Lucas, his son. Yeah. But again, he had so many ups and downs, but certainly a lot more ups than downs.
Well, all of the other trainers that he had that learned under him and then went on, and they are the major trainers around the country right now. He was always expecting and hoping that his son Jeff would be the key assistant trainer to him throughout his career. Jeff was run over by a loose horse in the barn area and suffered a concussion that kind of put him in a disabled, state for the rest of his life. And then he finally passed away. But I think that had a big effect on Lucas. But
of course,
Lucas, I got to tell you, Lucas was in the later stages. Whenever he won a race anywhere, he'd get a kid that was near the winner's circle outside. Winner's circle,
and take him in the picture.
Take him and bring him in the picture as a racing fan. And he was just he's going to be well missed, that's for sure. But his accomplishments and his records will go on for a long time, and his footprint as far as the trainers, etc., like you said, a branch on a big tree there, that's for sure.
Yeah. What's interesting, Ralph, he was very close with Baffert towards the end, I guess, of his career. Training-wise, they were really close. The last race he ever won, Duane Lucas, was for Bob Baffert's wife, Jill.
Yeah.
I think back on the June 12th or something, he shipped a horse to Kentucky, and he ran him under the Lucas name, and he won. So that was his last one ever.
Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago, I think. Maybe, about 10 days ago, something like that. Yeah. His wife, and it was kind of unusual for him to send that particular horse to Churchill, but he did. And he said Lucas went under Lucas' care, and it was amazing. I tell you, sometimes fate is just crazy, crazy. But anyhow, I'm sure there'll be a lot of accolades and a lot more comments from a lot of more powerful people coming. That's for sure of Duane Lucas. But getting back to the races now at Churchill Downs, we've got the Stephen Foster, as we know, is going to be a great race. But the Florida Lee becomes a great race only because of the entry of Torpedo Anna, who was last year's horse of the year, but she got beaten her last start. And so the field is like this: Royal Spa, will break from the rail for Rudolph Brissett and Flavian Pratt's the rider there. Number 2, Save Time. Irad Ortiz Jr. for Safi Joseph Jr. Torpedo Anna will be number 3, of course. Brian Hernandez riding for Kenny McPeak. The 4 is Gin Gin. Jose Ortiz for Brendan Walsh, who's having a great meet there at Churchill Downs. And Taxed, Rafael Bejarano for Randy Morse. It's only a 5 filly mare field, but I guess it's her race to win or lose.
Well, everyone's going to want to see how she runs. I mean, last time out, she actually ran the worst race of her career, Ralph. She ran horrible that day with no really visual excuse. The question is, did she slow down? We're going to watch and find out. And, she's probably going to be 2 to 5 again. But one of those races where I think you're better off watching than playing.
Or if you're gonna take Torpedo Anna, you might as well try to punch an exacta and make something happen there. But outside of that, we'll go over more all of those Churchill Downs races scheduled for Saturday on Saturday with you. But now I guess we'll get right to a pick or two today, unless you have a soapbox that you're on.
No, we're good today, Ralph. Actually, we're going to look at the opener today at Churchill. It's 6 furlongs on the main track. By the way, 2 winners on Sunday. So let's see if we can't make it 3 in a row.
Well, I'll tell you those winners on Sunday at Aqueduct. You had first time in forever, first time in forever, won and paid $9.50, and then you came back at Los Alamitos. With a resemblance, and that paid $6.40. So you were 2 for 2 on Sunday. Let's keep the mojo going.
All right. So the opener today at Churchill Downs is 6 furlongs on the main track, and I like the longest shot in the race, Ralph. Number 6, Servaro della Sala. I hope it's the number 6 horse. This filly ran very well last time out. 3 of her last 4 starts were all breaking from the inside. 2 starts back, she broke from the outside at Keelan, and she won. Well, she's drawn back outside today after having trouble breaking from the rail last time out. Ben Curtis rides for trainer Anna Mia, 10 to 1 on the morning line. The number 6 horse wins today's opener out at Churchill Downs.
All righty, man. Remember that first post time at Churchill Downs today is early. That first post time at Churchill is at 9:45 at Churchill. And again, the 6-horse field, but 10 to 1 on the morning line. Cavallo de la Sala, a British-bred horse, and Ben Curtis riding, which is, I got to tell you, Ben Curtis has been doing a good job there at Churchill. The 6-horse in the open of the first race, that's, of course, starts out the early pick 5, so we can get that thing off in the right spot there with a nice long shot. Again, in the first race at Churchill Downs, number 6.
Thank you, Ralph. Stay safe and be well.
All right, you got it, my man, and we will certainly take, before we take our break, I'll just wrap up everything else that happened on Sunday around the country. Belmont at Aqueduct, as we say, Jonathan Ardoon gave us a winner at $9.50. Manny Franco, Joel Rosario had a couple of wins each. Franco won the second race at $4.50. Came back in the 5th race for Brad Cox at $6.80. And then Rosario won the third at $4.60. Rosario came back in the final race at $5.80. And the featured Wilton Stakes was won by Sweet Serafin. Irad Ortiz Jr. riding for Sherry DeVoe, paying $4.40, outrunning Dry Powder and Cat Chat. Churchill Downs, Luis Saez had 3 wins on the day. He won the he won the second race, I should say, with his first winner, $4.04 for trainer Chris Davis's first win. And then Saez came back with Davis again as they got their second wins of the day in the 7th race at $11.18. And Saez capped it off with his third win at $4.96 in the 9th and final race there. Jamie Torres also had a couple of wins at Churchill on Sunday. And as far as Los Alamitos, Jeremy Leprita came on back to the West Coast to ride at Sunday at Los Alamitos and won back-to-back winners. He won the second race at $3.60, came back in the third race at $6.40. And as Jonathan Hardoon said, he and Rich Ang both had a winner. They both landed on the same horse in the 4th race. That is Resemblance, paying $6.40. and that was at Los Alamitos. And boy, what a day Woodbine trainer Mark Casse had on Sunday. Won the first race with Pat Husbands at 460. Then he comes back in the fourth race with Sahin Shafici paying $5.96. Casse came in the sixth race with his third win, with, again, Sahin Shafici paying $3.80. Won the seventh race for his fourth win of the day at $5 even, and that was Pat Husband's second win with him on the day. And then capped off the 10th and final race with Pat Husband's third win with Mark Casse. Casse's fifth win overall, and paid $9 even. And then the stakes races, the Georgian Bay was won by Rahera for Kevin Attard, paying $18.20. And then we came back with the Lake Heron. That was the eighth race, Go-Kart Mozart with Sophia Vives, paying $4.20 for Robert Tiller. That at Woodbine. And keeping our check on Paco Lopez and his multi-win days at Monmouth Park. Out of his 7 mounts at Monmouth Park, Paco Lopez ran second 5 times. 5 second-place finishes at Monmouth out of 7 races, 7 mounts on Sunday, but no winners. All right, we'll be right back, and when we come back, we'll have Rich Eng standing by, and, of course, Duane Colucci yet to come. Jon Lindo is also with us, so don't go away. We'll be right back.
Here we are in Houston, opening up our first veteran village. This beautiful building that's going to house 161 homeless veterans. Any veteran that risks their lives and they're struggling with PTSD, mental illness, addiction. We're also building what I call comfort homes, 500 square foot homes. These are for older homeless veterans, so they have their own space, and give them back some of their dignity, some of their independence, and most certainly give them back their life. Go to T2T.org to learn how you can change a veteran's life forever.
If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry-aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone.
All right, back on Race Day Las Vegas. Now it's time to go out to Rich Eng standing by. Richie, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Ralphie. Good morning, viewers. Good morning, listeners.
Well, I got to tell you, when you reach our age, Richie, along the way, we get to see a lot of our friends pass along. Of course, Duane Lukas in horse racing. He's retired from racing now, and he's sitting in hospice, and it's a sad day. But what a record! What an impression he made on horse racing for all those decades.
Yeah, no question about it, Ralph. One of my prized possessions is winning colors photo, winning the Kentucky Derby, and Gary Stevens and Wayne Lukas signed it for me, and just a wonderful man. And I tell you what, the first 20 years of my life, Ralph, I was on the racetrack publicity side. And Wayne Lukas was one of those horse racing people who, if you asked him for a favor to help with publicizing a race or a horse or whatever, he would do it. And not every trainer is like that, Ralph. As we've gone through our professional lives, but Wayne Lukas would give you his cell phone number, his home number, and if you needed him, he said, just call me. and he did it many, many times when I worked at the different tracks in New York and also in Monmouth and the Turfway and so forth. It just shows you the heart of the man. He really loved the sport, and did everything he could to promote it.
Oh, yeah. There's not even a question about that. As a matter of fact, he loved horse racing and horses, etc. so much. When he was in college, he often performed at county fairs doing trick riding for extra money. I mean, it was amazing how this guy, what a career this guy had, that's for sure. But you talk about... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the reason they call him the coach, you had mentioned it with his basketball background.
Yeah.
But he was a high school basketball coach, and one of his good friends was Bobby Knight, the Indiana Hoosiers coach. But they were best of friends, and they would compare notes about leadership and success, and a lot of it's just from hard work, Ralph. They were hard workers.
Yes, and they loved every minute of it, that's for sure. And, of course, when you're talking about the publicity side, we lost another person on that publicity side. Paul Corman died of cancer, 73, here in Las Vegas. And I know that he was a friend of yours and certainly made an impression in publicity as well.
Yeah, I met Paul back in 1979 at the Aqueduct Press Box, Ralph, and he had a long, storied career. We both moved out here to Las Vegas, and I used to have lunch with him every few months, and I last saw him about 2 weeks ago. And in all candor, Ralph, I knew he was not doing well, but he never admitted to me that he was suffering from cancer. And it's just a sad loss, good friend. And Andy Beyer is one of the folks who was a good friend of Paul's, and he gives Paul a lot of credit for kind of really making trip handicapping a very important, vital part of horse handicapping, because back in the late 70s, early 80s, Paul was a chart caller and a chart taker, and when he watched races on television, he would make copious notes about the trips of horses, and he was one of the first people to really promote that.
Well, I hope you made copious trips on your pick today. Where are we going?
Let's go to Churchill Downs, race number 7. Hopefully they don't cancel like the other tracks. It's a starter allowance 12.5. The number 9 horse, Copperlight, trained by Nolan Ramsey. I believe he's the son of Ken Ramsey, but he's definitely related to the Ramseys. But he's had a nice early start to his career. This horse should be able to sit a trip and finish under Luis Saez. Let's go with the 9, Copperlight, in the 7th.
All right, 7th race at Churchill Downs, number 9, Copperlight, Saez for Ramsey, 7-2 on the morning line. In the 7th race, number 9 is Rich Ang's selection for the race day listeners today. Richie, we'll let you go, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Hey, thanks, Ralph. Good luck, everybody.
All right, now we're going to go up to the Rampart, where Mr. Duane Colucci is standing by. Duane, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. How we doing today?
Oh, we're doing fine, my man. I know that you, loving the game of horse racing, must have a thought or two about Duane Lukas.
Yeah, definitely. One of the greatest, Ralph. I mean, just a legend. And, that's when I was really starting to get a grasp on the horse racing, was when he was peaking with Eugene Klein and Winning Colors, Lady Secret. I saw so many of his champions. I remember Winning Colors and Personal Ensign matching up in the Mesquite Mile. I was actually there that day, and that was just a tremendous race. And Steinlen was one of my favorites. I had him in the Breeders' Cup Mile, and just a legend. And the lineage, like you said, of how he reached so many different people in the horse racing game, and so many trainers that were assistants under Mr. Lukas, and just, a devastating loss. We know he's in hospice, but he's not doing well. Thoughts and prayers to the family. And, like you said, his son was supposed to take over, but I think Tabasco Cat might have been the horse that actually, clipped him in the head. Yeah. And that was a tragedy in itself. So this family has had some tragedies, but some great times. And like I said, just amazing. Winning Colors, winning the Derby, and, so many fabulous horses that so too many to mention. Just a legend.
Yeah, Tabasco Cat was one of the horses that was in that long stretch of 6 consecutive Triple Crown races that Lukas put together when he won the Belmont Stakes in 1994. But yeah, that was the horse that got loose and just ran right over Jeff. But what a career Duane Lukas had from coast to coast. I remember one time he had 40 head of horses at 4 major racetracks across the country. And the lineage, as far as the offspring of trainers that tootled under him and, are great trainers now. And, of course, top of that list is Todd Pletcher and Mike Maker, et cetera, but many, many more. Just shows you that his impression, his imprint on horse racing will be for a long, long time.
Yes, an amazing influence. And, just like you said, Todd Pletcher, it starts there, Mike Maker, Dallas Stewart, just so many fabulous trainers, and especially Todd, who, just took the torch and continues to have the Lukas torch, and definitely the legacy. It keeps it going, and it's great to see, because we need that in horse racing. We need legends who really want to, train and have a hands-on. That story you told about him doing tricks, it's just a feel-good story, and the Lukas family will always be etched in horse racing. Already, a Hall of Famer naturally, but so many horses like we discussed, and it just continues on. He had a fabulous year last year, and it's just a shame to see how quick this turnaround and illness just took over, and it's sad. It's a very sad day.
Well, I know somebody who keeps waving the flag in horse racing here in town on the up in Summerlin, and that is you there at the Rampart. That's for sure. And if people are in that area and don't go to the Rampart, that'll be the first bad beat they have of the day. So you make sure you get out there. And Duane, I know that you come on Wednesdays and tell us what's going on there at the Rampart. A big Saturday coming up for Churchill. And you always have found a horse for us on Wednesday to play.
Yeah, definitely. We're looking forward to the Stephen Foster. What a great field. I mean, this is an awesome field. I mean, you have the Dubai World Cup winner. You have Sierra Leone, who's coming back after that rough run at Fairgrounds. We have Mystic Dan, who's coming off a win. My Frame, just a tremendous, tremendous field. And this is going to be a great racehorse. So come out and join us at the Rampart. But today is another day. Wednesday horse racing, 9:45 post here in Las Vegas. And we'll have it fired up on the video wall. So we have to give a couple of picks. 8th race, I like number 9, Risk It.
What racetrack are you talking about now?
Churchill Downs. Churchill Downs.
All right, go ahead.
Yes, Churchill Downs. We're going with race 8, number 9, Risk It. I got a little ahead of myself. I get excited, Ralph.
I know you do.
David Jacobson taking this horse, off of Steve Asmussen. We'll see if he could develop this horse a little more. It's somewhat of a closer. He likes to stalk. You're getting Jose Ortiz, and you're getting a nice price. Be careful of the Linda Rice horse in this race, though. She won't throw $80,000 around if she doesn't think, the claim is substantial. So I'm definitely going to be using the number 9 Risk It with the number 5 Holster, I believe that horse is. So I like Risk It's chances. I think David has been doing a great job at Churchill Downs. He's moved his tack basically from the East Coast to the Midwest and other racetracks, and he's developing some great, prices, and he's getting some good horses. So I think this is definitely one to watch. And we're going to bet a double. Actually, my best bet of the day is in race 9 at Churchill Downs. I love this 12 horse, Candy Mine. I just think this combination of Morales and Arnold is going just so well now. You look at the ROI on this, Ralph, and this combination has been deadly at the Churchill Downs meet, hitting at about 20%. This horse is only 5-2, but speed figures tell me that this horse could really dominate this field. There are some other horses to the inside, but I think the class will definitely exude here. And I think a double of the 9 in race 8 and the 12 in race 9 at Churchill Downs, it will be a winning ticket today.
All right, you got it, my man. 8th race number 9, 9th race number 12. You can bet them individually and hook them up in a double. That's Duane's selections for you on this Wednesday, getting started on a busy week in horse racing. And, of course, Duane, you're going to do it all there at the Rampart. Thanks a lot, my man.
Thanks, Ralph. Always a pleasure. You do so much for my property and for horse racing. You are the best.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that, as well as you. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're wrapping it up with Jon Lindo. Don't go away.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world.
The Race Day Las Vegas Show, the only exclusive daily local media racing information source in Las Vegas.
All right, back on Race Day Las Vegas to put the finishing touches on this Wednesday show. And by the way, folks, they did approve all of the racing days as usual for the fairgrounds and Churchill Downs, but there is one more hurdle to go over. Churchill Downs and the horsemen do have to come up with an agreement, but it's more likely than not that they will, and so there will be fairgrounds uninterrupted racing there and beginning over the Thanksgiving weekend. Now we go out to Jon Lindo standing by in Southern California. John, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, my man. I know you have a thought or two, a memory of Duane Lukas.
Pretty incredible how he changed the game. Back when he started, the stall limits, a trainer could have 40 stalls max at a track. He had full barns at 4 or 5 different tracks at one time. He's the one that did the Duane off the plane, the shipping from state to state, moving horses around for different races before it was the thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of showed what he was going to do when he first started in the thoroughbred business, Ralph. 1978, 4th of July, he won the American Handicap with a horse named Effervescing on the grass.
Mm-hmm.
He wheeled that horse back 6 days later in the Citation Handicap, also at Hollywood Park, and he wins the Citation on the dirt 6 days later. That just wasn't done back then. And this was after finishing people don't remember, he's a Hall of Famer in the quarter horse business too. And to this day, I still think the best horse he ever trained was a quarter horse. He trained Dash for Cash to win the Champion of Champions in 1977 and 76 and 77 down at Los Alamitos, one of the best horses of any breed I've ever seen.
Well, I know that Effervescing story. I was working in the publicity department at Hollywood Park, and when he entered that horse back, it was so unusual after winning a horse on 4th of July, come back the next weekend, that I had Brent Musburger, who was working at the time in sports in L.A. on the CBS affiliate there, come out and do a story on Duane Lukas, and he was so nice to everybody there to get that done, and that was a big publicity move for Hollywood Park that next weekend as well. So a lot of interesting stories with Duane Lukas, and I can tell you this, his stable was the most immaculate I've ever seen anywhere to this day. The hay that the horses were in their stalls were like 3 times higher than any other stable. And it was a piece of straw wasn't even in the shed row anywhere, and the signage and all that. He had immense respect for not only the horse but the business of horse racing. Those are some impressions that I had of Duane Lukas, but he will be missed. John, we're coming up this weekend on a big racing weekend at Churchill Downs. What's your schedule for the Lindo Report?
Well, I've got the full card tomorrow at Churchill Downs, and we'll go to the pick fives on Friday, Saturday. And as long as they have that massive carryover going into that Derby City 6 on Sunday, we'll do the pick 6 races there on closing day Sunday. And we will do Los Alamitos for the 3 days this week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Boy, you're going to be a busy man with the Lindo Report. And remember, folks, the Lindo Report is only found in one place in this gaming capital, is here at the South Point in the Racebook, free of charge, because they love horse players here. The Lindo Report, all of the Lindo Reports he just talked about will be here at the South Point in the Racebook. But I know John perused around somewhere today for a racing pick for us. So, John, fess up, buddy.
All right. Well, everybody's at Churchill Downs. I'll go there as well. I'll go to race number 7 at Churchill Downs, Ralph. 7th race today, number 1, Metatron's Muse. Won off the claim by trainer Chris Hartman last time. That was a 1-turn mile. He ran well in a 2-turn race in the race before that. Draws the rail. Brian Hernandez will save all the ground from the inside, be right behind the speed. I think the trip gets them the money right back. 9-2 on the morning line, number 1, Metatron's Muse, race number 7, Churchill Downs.
All right, the 7th race at Churchill Downs, number 1, Metatron's Muse. The one at Churchill Downs is in the race 7, I should say. Number 1 in race 7. And, of course, Richie came with the 9 horse in the same race. So we got a Siraco play for it today. We got the 1991 Exacta box in the 7th race at Churchill, but you are on number 1 in the 7th race there. So we got all these picks today at Churchill Downs. It'll be a fun day of racing there at Churchill. And, of course, John will be looking forward to the weekend. Hopefully the extreme heat won't affect 2 of the big racing cards coming up on Friday at Penn National, of course, Saturday at Churchill Downs. But, yes, what a career, what a life that Duane Lukas had, that's for sure. And started out, as a coach in high school, and that label stuck with him all through his racing career, the coach. And from all of us here at Race Day and all of our handicappers, I know for sure, we pay homage to Duane Lukas. He has changed the industry for the good.
Absolutely, yes.
There's no question about that. That's for sure. And always had a lot of fun with him in Southern California. And the guy was always quick with good sayings and good opinions of whatever the topic was in horse racing as well. He was a very witty, still is a very witty person, that's for sure. And I'm sure that the stable will go on because the assistant that he has now is going to step in and train the horses for him. And if he learned anything from Duane Lukas as the other trainers have, it'll be a big, good transition, that's for sure. Well, we're done for this Race Day show, and we'll be back tomorrow morning, God willing, and the creek don't rise. But there's always one more thing to say before we leave you, John.
Have a great race day, everybody.